I know I start a lot of shit on this channel, and I really don't keep it up. I mean, I think I did another character in an Isekai like 3 times, and I know I said I would keep consistent updates on the legendary weapons and maybe even some of the what are the other cards? It's been so long since I've read anything. I forget what they're called. The other type of weapons in the Shield Hero. But here's the thing: I'm an adult now, and there's a lot of adult things I have to do. And like one of them is working, and one of them is like trying to get up on my feet so I don't have to worry about living with my parents 24/7 as I am 22 years old. I know Mother's Basement. I think I said I don't know. I think I said I know, but I don't know exactly how old Mother's Basement got when he was free from his mother's basement. But I think it was like 26 or something like that. Maybe even 30. I'm thinking it was 30, but maybe that was just another YouTuber that I'm thinking about. And I'm not trying to diss him, it takes a long time for us millennials, or in my case, I think I'm more of a Gen Zer. It takes a lot of while and time and commitment and whatever to get off my feet because I'm a Gen Z guy. And recently I got involved in a new hobby called guns. As I'm an American, I have a lot of guns now. Well, not as much as a lot, because a lot of Americans say a lot is like 200 or 300 guns, and I probably have about 10 at the most, or maybe even a little bit under 10. But my point is that I know I don't start and end a series very often, or keep up to date with one. I will be doing that more often, and I'll be doing a new series of videos. I promise this time I will keep consistent. It's going to be a long one, so that's how I know it's going to be consistent, and it's going to be called, Is It Possible to Bring Modern Weaponry into an Isekai? Or at least up to World War II era. Because semi-auto is very difficult, even though I do know the M1 Garand, or Garand, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is a semi-automatic weapon, but it still uses a clip system and not a magazine system, and I'll get more into that later. But basically, even though I know there was World War II machine guns that were semi-automatic and full auto, I think they were actually only full auto. But anyways, my point is, I want to bring this whole series about because I watched a recent anime, I think it was 2 seasons ago, and I'm rewatching it because, I don't know, they have the English version out, up to episode 8, I think, of how a realist hero built a kingdom. And that got me thinking, can you realistically bring about modern weaponry, like guns, in a magical fantasy and sword isekai? Is it possible? In a generic one. Now, I know I could make it work in a series that is dedicated to it if I say bring modern weaponry into an isekai. And I think there was this one manga where there's like this little girl who was a huge otaku fanatic of guns, was brought into another world as a villainess, and she's like, I don't want to die, so I'm going to bring modern weaponry into it all. But in a generic isekai, where there's monsters, magic, think along the lines of like Shield Hero, even though Shield Hero goes into why guns didn't work in that world, but like also think of like Mushoku Tensei, jobless reincarnation. You can even think about like other generic isekais, like that one shitty one that I don't want to talk about, where bringing weapons would be pretty good in that world, most likely. But let's just go with a generic take on this subject. Do I believe modern weaponry could be introduced into that world? Yes. Would it take a long time? Yes. Probably. I haven't done the series yet, but I think with all the weaponry in the entire world, cannons, muskets, things before that, if you can create all of that, it would take you 50 years. But you would be the best, strongest damn kingdom within those 50 years. And let me explain more of it in later videos. Like I said, I don't know the exact amount of time. 50 years is just a guesstimate because of how far it took for the evolution of weaponry to get to the point where modern, or at least World War II guns were. It took around 200-ish, 3, 8, depending on how much you want to say. I think the first gun was like invented in the 1100s or something, more information and exact information when I do the videos. But I think you can shorten it into to 50 years based off of ingenuity and bullshitting. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting series to develop over the time, and I really hope I do it justice. I'm not like Potential History or the other history channels. I've just been watching a lot of Potential History, which is one of the reasons why I want to create this. Maybe it's like a potential history in the fact of like bringing modern weaponry into an isekai. How would that work? It's potential. Maybe there are isekais out there. Well, I believe there's heaven, but that's a whole other thing to talk about. So, I just want to bring this series to light because it will be a very interesting ride. And I hope you enjoy the videos, and I hope you keep me company. I can go on and on and on, but I'm just going to leave it here. Thank you.